There is one important thing that I feel like we neglect a lot. It's an important aspect of our well-being that can be really significant when it comes to weight loss, yet or healthy living, yet we neglect it a lot. I feel guilty talking about this at the moment because most of the time I find that I don't fulfill it, even though I know the importance or the significance of being able to do this. What am I thinking? What am I talking about? This is really sleep. Sleep is one of those important things that when we sleep, our bodies are able to repair themselves. The damage that we go through, all the everything, every single thing, like literally, there's a lot of repair that happens to our bodies when we sleep. There's a lot of healing that happens really when we sleep. There is also possibilities that our bodies become more rejuvenated, right? And during those times when we are resting, of course, there's that basal metabolic rate where we'll need some energy to keep us going. And that's something really important to think about as well. But when it comes to the just really sleeping is rest in itself. And there is power in being able to rest, where you work from rest rather than resting from your work, because most of the time we allow ourselves to constantly be on the move. We are constantly busy. We are a busy generation. We are a fast-paced generation, and with AI, things have become even much more fast-paced. That sometimes we get to a point where we struggle with even just being able to get the basics, which is being able to put in enough time to rest, to switch off from the every helter skelters of life, so that you can switch off and just be, rather than do. And I was thinking about this because, as I've said before, I've got a 9 months old at home, and because I've got this 9 month old, I don't sleep that much. And I was thinking potentially that could be the reason why at the moment I'm really struggling when it comes to my body's holding on to fat, my body's holding into onto a lot of weight at the moment, because you can do all the things, you can eat well, you can exercise, but if you're not sleeping well, sleep has a very important and significant part in our lives and in our well-being. Sleep deprivation can actually result in so many different things. Alongside, for example, as I said, you can hold on to fat, you may not lose much weight if you're sleep deprived, because at the end of the day your body needs to be able to heal, to recover, and to rejuvenate and recuperate during the sleep time. So if you're not sleeping well, and I can see lots of you with me this morning, good morning, good to have you here. I'm talking about the importance of sleep in our well-being. If you do not sleep well, it gets to a point where, yeah, you will be struggling. And of course, as I said, I'm guilty at the moment because I'm finding it difficult when I have to feed my baby 5, 6, 7 times in a night, and as a result of that, I am not really in a place where I can say I'm having enough sleep. And I can see that back into, I was trying to ask myself, why is it that I'm doing so much at the moment? Not so much as but I'm exercising, trying to check my diet, but then I'm not really seeing so much shifts in my weight. And then I remembered, Claire, it's your sleep that is working a havoc on you, because obviously I am not having, like, recommended is between 7 to 9 hours of sleep for adults, and I'm not having anything closer to those 7 to 9 hours. If I really, really have a good sleep, a good night for me will be like something like 4 hours. Sometimes 5 hours is like a miracle. And I was thinking, like, that makes so much sense, because I am exercising, I am working out, I am eating as healthily as I can, but then I'm not giving myself the opportunity to heal and the opportunity to be able just to rest, because I'm sleeping, but I'm still thinking of, I need to wake up and feed another human being. I'm sleeping and I'm thinking of, I need to wake up and do school run. So there's a lot of things going on in my mind at the moment, that it gets to a point where I'll lie to you that I can just be able to unwind completely and just sleep and, and snore through the night and forget about this somebody else that I'm looking after. But if you're not in a position, like in a place where I am at the moment, I would like to really encourage you to think about your sleep patterns and think, could my sleep be the thing that I need to add or to work on or to look into, so that I can be able to be effective when it comes to being having a healthy lifestyle, being able to lose weight, being able to stay on the narrow path. Because it could be, as I said, that you're doing all the things necessary. You're doing your exercises, you're eating properly, you are looking after your everything else, but maybe it's just the sleep and the quality of the sleep. Because sometimes I say to myself, I'll go to bed at 8 and then I'll want to sleep at 8, but then I get to bed at 8 and then I will check. Oh, I'll be like, I've been at work the whole day, I haven't checked social media, I haven't checked on ABCD, and by the time I've scrolled through reels, I'm real as well, I'm a human being, I've scrolled through my reels and everything, I realize, oh my world, by the time I'm sleeping, maybe it's around 10:30, and by 11 I should be waking up to feed my little girl. So at the end of it all, you can say that you are sleeping, but as I said, it's not the quantity but the quality of your sleep. How can you improve your sleep quality? There are so many different things that you can do, and I know some people can be fighting with things like insomnia, where you're finding it really difficult to sleep. If that is you, you may have to think of, what else can I do to be able to sleep much better? But if you don't have insomnia but you're struggling to sleep, one of the things I'll suggest to you is check, when do you switch off your devices? Like, as I said, like for me, because during the day I'm busy at work, I don't do social media at work, and so I come back home, I'm like, this is the time to catch up with all the things happening around me. But then if I'm catching up with the things happening around me, I'm exposing myself to that blue light very much in the night, and then I'm not allowing myself enough time to switch off from that blue light so that I can be able to rest and be able to sleep. So one of the things that I love and I hope I can do for myself, so I'm preaching to myself, is being able to switch off at least an hour or 2 hours before your sleep time, so that you know, this moment I can be able to get away from the devices and you can read. For example, I've picked up reading lately, and at the moment I'm reading the love languages book by Gary Chapman. This book is really amazing. I'm not advertising it, but it's just been helping me to know the people that I have in my life. How can I love them a little bit better by understanding their love language? Because if I don't do that, I might be, the book says, you might be speaking a dialect, that you might be speaking Chinese to your spouse or to your child when they are speaking back to you in English, and obviously you'll not understand each other. So I have been doing like a chapter, so at the end of the day, rather than being on social media, that would be a good thing to unwind with a book, or just being able to be with your family really and catch up with your family. The other thing as well to think about when it comes to this is also like the quality, the environment in your room. Like, take a look, if you are at home at the moment, in your room, what are the distractions? Sometimes if your room is too hot, for some of us who live in tropical countries, or it's too cold for some of us who live in temperate countries, or sometimes if your room, yeah, basically, how is your room quality? Like the humidity in your room, is it too humid, is it too, all those things can actually impact your room. So if you live in a cold country, just trying to ensure that you put your temperature to a place where it's going to be maybe around 16 degrees, so that you're not overheating yourself as you're sleeping. And if you live in a temperate country, just leaving your windows open a little bit to aerate your room can make a whole difference. Also, simple things like washing your bedding. Goodness me, after how long do you need to change your bedding? I'll leave that to you. I'll leave that to your judgment. But I've realized that every time I sleep in a clean sheet, like I'm going in between a clean sheet and I've done my laundry, and I'm smelling the scent of my laundry soap, and just being able to sleep in a clean bed really makes me feel much better, and I can fall asleep much better. So that can be something to think about. What is the quality? Are you sleeping in clean beddings and things like that? And of course, the most important thing as well is your diet. Are you the kind of a person that eats a big really 3 course meal just before you go to bed? You will have indigestion, and indigestion can obviously affect your ability to fall asleep. or you're going to bed with a full tummy, it's going to affect your quality of sleep and the ability to fall asleep. And so they usually suggest and say, if you're going to go to sleep, try to eat. Like for myself, I have a cutoff point. I say the kiosk closes for me at 7:30. Once the kiosk is closed, I do not go back to the kiosk. So you may want to think, if I go to bed at 10, maybe the last time I'm eating the last meal can be something like 2 to 8 p.m. or at 7 or 6, because you want to allow your body to start breaking down food before you are able to start sleeping. So as I say, this is something that I have to work on, because at the moment, being able to sleep through the night is not as something for me, because obviously my daughter wakes up 5, 6 times in the night, and so I can't say that I can have 7, 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep. But if you are able to, for your own welfare, why not consider looking at how is my sleep pattern, how is my sleep hygiene, am I looking at my sleep as a friend of mine and ensuring that I'm sleeping well before I can't be able to think about my well-being. Right, I've got to go to work. That was another quick just fire around for me to say, hey, think about how sleep is affecting your quality of life. Have an amazing day. I hope you know that you loved, celebrated, and appreciated. May you really be richly blessed. And I usually say 3 John 2:1, may it become a reality to you that you will prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. I've got to go to do some work. So if you've not done so already, why not just click on that like, share, or subscribe button? It will go a long way in supporting what you do. Otherwise, I pray you have an amazing day. I've got to go. Catch up with you again pretty much soon. Goodbye and God bless.